I know you use Godot, Audacity, Blender, things like that. But what does your general workflow sort of look like when you're working with games? Like just a sort of a high level rundown of the sort of tools that you use.
Yeah, as you said, the main software is going to be Godot. That it's an incredible software, really really nice. That's the first game engine I ever used,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really really nice. Uh, so yeah, I'm using that for all the like development part of the game. I'm not using any external IDE for that
Mm-hmm.
because the internal one is really good already. Then I'm using Blender for all the 3D modeling. And what's really cool with Blender is that you can easily add Python script uh,
Mm.
in, right inside Blender that will automate all your exporting things like that. So I use custom scripts for that part of my work. Then there's Inkscape for all. I usually use Inkscape when I have to create 2D graphics that will be like user interface or things like that because of scalable graphics. Uh, so I use Inkscape, and again, Inkscape you can access it through the command line, so you can automate all your exporting
Oh, I didn't actually realize that.
using. So you can do XML parsing on your SVG file,
Ah, yes.
changing the visibility of some layers, and then rendering with Inkscape.
Right, of course.
All of all of that directly in a script.
I,
So yeah, that's pretty useful.
I don't know why I didn't realize that. Of course, it's an XML.
Then yeah, I'm using GIMP for all the 2D graphics that are more like illustrations.
Mhm.
I use Krita when I need to use my tablet.
Uh-huh.
Like yeah, because in my experience, the support of stylus is incredible in Krita, but it's more for sketching and things like that. I don't have the level yet to make stuff that will be high quality enough to in Krita to be in the game. Um, I use OBS for all the streaming
Mhm.
because I stream a lot of my game development. So I use OBS and uh, in OBS I made some. I'm using VLC, for instance, to have my music running in the background, and I'm using a plugin to make sure I can get the name and
Yeah.
the author of the music in OBS. And that's where open source software is really cool, because there was an issue where in VLC you have to enable the plugin each time you start the software. So you
Okay.
start VLC, you have to enable that plugin to be able to get the name and the author. So I was able to like change the VLC code to automate the enabling of that plugin at startup. So that's really cool. What else? As I said, I'm using
Mhm.
Beatbox for my music creation. And in Beatbox, I made a custom design for Beatbox.
I did see that video. That was actually pretty cool. If I try that out, I'll have to try that design out because, yeah, the default one, as you mentioned in
Yeah.
that video, at least use up the entire screen at a bare minimum. That's all it needs to do.
uh, that's an option. You can natively use an option to use
Mm,
the entire screen,
but like, why is
but
that not
yeah,
enabled by
make
default?
yeah make yeah, make that a default. Yeah, yeah. But for the credit, the software is amazing. Like
Mhm.
Beatbox is straight to the point. That's really cool. Audacity, I have a really hard time with Audacity, so I use it, but
Yeah.
I use I use it, but it's a strange relationship with.
Yeah, I definitely know the feeling.
I try to use it less and less. As I said in a recent video, I automated my audio filtering
Hmm.
for all my videos, so I don't need to touch Audacity when I'm making a video. But for creating, like editing the noises
Hmm.
for my game, that's really useful. Um, yeah, and I think that's pretty much. Oh yeah,
Mm.
something that people may not like maybe is my ID, like what I use for
Hmm.
code when it's not in Godot is Gedit or Gedit. How do you
Okay.
pronounce?
Okay, that's an interesting choice.
How do you pronounce it? Is like
I
Gedit or
think
Gedit?
I always just say G edit. I don't know what the correct way
Okay,
is.
okay, gedit. Okay, yeah, that's nice. Yeah, I'm using gedit, and there are so many plugins for gedit where you can really make it uh, like really efficient,
Hmm.
but not like a really big and heavy ID. Like it's still a notepad in the end. Like and you can write your own stuff for it, so that's pretty cool.
Hmm.
Like you can write your own plugins for it in Python, in C. The documentation is horrible. But there's enough documentation to start making things, so that's pretty cool.